That audible crunch filling your mouth right now. That's the sound of crushed Puritanism disguised as breakfast. Every spoonful of Corn Flakes is you deep-throating 19th century sexual terror sold by a mustachioed zealot who thought your right hand belonged in hell. John Harvey Kellogg didn't create cereal to feed America. He weaponized blandness to chemically castrate you before dawn. The Sanitarium Superintendent believed cornmeal could curb your solitary vice, which isn't some indie band name, but his clinical term for choking the churchwarden. This walking Edward Gorey villain prescribed bran as anti-aphrodisiac while designing cereal flakes through sheer toxic accident. His asylum patients got served charred wheat mush after Kellogg botched granola storage, only to realize the world would pay to eat his failures if wrapped in enough fear of God and boners. Kellogg's war on pleasure wasn't metaphorical. Dude literally wired prepubescent boys' genitals to batteries to electrocute erections into submission. Girls got carbolic acid burned onto their clitorises as itch deterrents. This sadistic Little House on the Prairie reboot included mandatory circumcisions without anesthesia because foreskins apparently stored degeneracy like biological USB drives. Modern parallels. The man was Andrew Tate with a medical license, peddling insecurity as virtue while monetizing self-loathing. Kellogg sold yogurt enemas through mail-order catalogs, lectured against mixed-gender swimming, and recommended vinegar douches, not for hygiene, but as punishment for enjoying sex more than your corpse would at a funeral. His graham cracker empire funded race betterment conferences, promoting forced sterilizations while branding masturbation, the suicide of the species. Your cereal aisle is a monument to this deranged legacy. That cartoon rooster, a psychological Trojan horse hiding the fact Kellogg would rather dissect your genitals than watch you enjoy a lazy Sunday. Every wholesome bite reinforces his belief that humanity's greatest sin is occasionally liking yourself enough to touch yourself. So next time you drown those flakes in milk, remember, Kellogg designed their blandness as gustatory conversion therapy. A breakfast so joyless, it makes oat bran taste like MDMA, engineered to turn your morning wood into petrified forest. Dr. Kellogg didn't stop at car batteries hooked to children's genitals like some demented Thomas Edison prototype. His sanitarium stocked silver wire cages rigged with alarms to puncture nocturnal erections, a chastity belt redesigned by someone who unironically quoted Leviticus during orgasms. Imagine waking up to a Victorian-era cock ring screaming louder than your repressed sexuality. Meanwhile, his hydrotherapy involved spraying 50-pound per square inch water jets directly at clitorises to cool immoral urges, essentially power washing away human dignity one teenage girl at a time. The man viewed anesthesia as coddling, routine circumcisions performed with nothing but a rusty scalpel, and a sermon about hellfire turned 7th graders into walking Yelp reviews for traumatic shock. His medical notes literally describe using pumice stones to scrub off sensitive genital tissue in girls. A DIY clitoridectomy kit sold alongside his healthy corners, breakfast pamphlets. Modern conversion therapy wishes it had this level of institutionalized creativity. Kellogg's Battle Creek Sanitarium wasn't a hospital. It was Crypto Bro Retreat meets Guantanamo Bay Day Spa. Patients paid top dollar for electroshock genital baths, while eating peanut butter sculpted into fecal shapes to remind them of bodily corruption. The man force-fed executives 17 grams of fiber daily until they shat themselves into enlightenment, all while his vibrating rectal massage chairs stimulated prostate purity. Imagine Elon Musk colonizing Mars. But instead of rockets, it's just endless kale smoothies and involuntary jolts to your perineum. No demographic was safe from his meat and alcohol abstinence crusade. Jewish immigrants were told gefilte fish caused ethnic masturbation hysteria. Black patients got strapped to vibrating platforms for Negro-specific moral recalibration. The man invented granola specifically to weaponize bowel movements against sexual autonomy, believing flatulence distracted from sinful thoughts, a theory disproven every time a Taco Bell bathroom becomes a makeshift confessional. His most enduring innovation, weaponizing blandness as behavioral control. Corn Flakes weren't accidental. Their cardboard texture and flavorless crunch served as edible propaganda. Kellogg boasted that eating them felt like chewing plaster to purify the palate and the soul, a culinary philosophy later adopted by British colonialists and school cafeteria consultants. The modern wellness industry still peddles this ascetic fetish, except now they charge $20 for charcoal lemonade that turns your shit blue while telling you joy is for the morally weak. Kellogg's legacy continues whenever someone claims broccoli smoothies cure depression or equates gluten with ethical decay. His ghost smiles every time a Peloton instructor screams about burning away impurities while you cycle toward an existential void. We didn't escape his crusade. We just swapped carbolic acid for cronuts and call it progress. Kellogg's twisted gastronomic warfare didn't stop at peasants. He needed celebrity endorsements to mainstream his anti-masturbatory crusade. Like a Victorian-era Gwyneth Paltrow shilling vagina eggs, he convinced industrialists and royals that cornflakes could chemically castrate their way to sainthood. Thomas Edison became a willing lab rat, swapping breakfast for Kellogg's voltage flakes between electrocuting elephants to prove AC current's dangers. Imagine that historic mind, inventing light bulbs by day, chomping plaster-tasting cereal to suppress self-exploration by night. His lab notes later revealed believing flakes energized celibacy circuits, a theory disproven when he fathered 6 kids anyway. Henry Ford brought Kellogg's madness to assembly lines, replacing lunch breaks with flake immersion therapy. Workers caught with sandwiches got sentenced to chewing dry cereal while supervisors vibrated their chairs at moral recalibration speed. Ford sincerely thought horniness caused union strikes, an idea currently resurrected by execs who install nap pods instead of raising wages. One leaked memo proposed adding wheat germ to Model T radiators so drivers would emit purity vapors, forgetting that combustion engines literally run on ancient plant orgasms. European royalty got customized torture. Queen Victoria's staff secretly laced her tea with powdered cornflakes to curb her excessive breeding impulses after 9 children, retrofitting misogyny as nutrition. Her doctors fretted about the monarchy collapsing from uterine exhaustion, which sounds like a death metal band but was just Victorian gynecology. Tsar Nicholas Roman II ordered Siberian wheat shipments for Russian Fury flakes. It convinced blandness could prevent revolutions the same way vodka prevented sobriety. His failure was predictable. Peasants preferred bread that didn't taste like Tsarist propaganda. The darkest irony, these flakes became status symbols. High society hosts served them in solid gold bowls at masturbation intervention soirees, where guests sniffed ammonia salts between bites. Oscar Wilde allegedly quipped, "This tastes like the Eucharist if performed by accountants," before getting arrested for enjoying actual pleasure. Meanwhile, coal miners got actual nutritious meals because capitalism understood workers needed energy, just not sexual energy, which obviously caused socialism. Modern parallel. Every Silicon Valley CEO pushing nootropics and semen retention while their apps algorithmically addict billions. Kellogg would weep proud tears seeing tech bros replace bacon with Soylent to optimize testosterone. Unaware that suppressing humanity's core programming just breeds new pathologies, like writing manifestos in DNA testing company parking lots at 3 a.m. His ghost haunts every juice cleanse, Peloton leaderboard, and unseasoned chicken breast served in pursuit of metaphysical constipation. Death finally came for Kellogg in 1943, ironically from overwork, because even his heart rejected leisure. His last words were allegedly, "Boil the cabbage," which future historians would misinterpret as dietary advice rather than a final desperate plea for flavor. But while the corpse cooled, his creation escaped the lab. Post-war America saw cornflakes weaponized by advertisers who missed the memo about anti-pleasure crusades. By 1952, Kellogg's own company ran ads featuring housewives suggestively pouring milk with the tagline, "Make his morning sizzle," an improvement over vaginas full of acid, I suppose. The 1970s brought full psychosexual whiplash. Tony the Tiger went from wholesome sportsmanship mascot to underground furry icon faster than you could say, "They're grrr rape why." Certain online communities began interpreting his striped tail in ways that would make Kellogg's Sanitarium graduates blush. By 2008, a Hungarian Sacha Baron Cohen knockoff filmed an art house porno called Frosted Flakes, involving edible body glitter and a tennis racket. Ironically, it won Best Documentary at a Berlin Film Festival. But the 2020s, honey, we upgraded to warfare. Kellogg's launched a Got the Urge campaign featuring Olympic swimmers emerging poolside in milk-drenched lingerie, literal dairy porn monetizing the exact moist situations Kellogg tried to neuter. Special K's bikini body shakes now promise conscious indulgence, while airbrushed thighs crush cereal boxes between them like hydraulic presses. The meta-irony: these ads drop during Super Bowl Sundays, America's annual test of how many cholesterol-packed snacks you can consume before cardiac arrest. Meanwhile, TikTok's cereal challenge trends involve slow-motion cleavage spills that somehow always require bending over kitchen counters. Kellogg would spin in his grave fast enough to power Detroit. His ghost probably haunts Madison Avenue boardrooms, screaming as copywriters pitch Fiber One commercials with taglines like "Feel the burn," in all the right places. The moral: purge human desire and it just metastasizes into stranger tumors. Today's OnlyFans creators literally film asthma cereal milk mouth sounds for simps while wearing Kellogg's branded pajamas. We've weaponized breakfast as foreplay because suppressed instincts always return as grotesques, like Victorian vibrators disguised as hysteria treatment wands. So savor that next bowl of Rice Krispies knowing every snap, crackle, and pop mirrors society edging itself into oblivion. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to bleach my eyes after researching Fruit Loop's Rule 34 for this segment. Evidence suggests the good doctor was fighting his own privates more than public health records care to admit. His treatise, Plain Facts for Young and Old, dedicates 57 pages to solo acts that's more ink than he gave to smallpox, while detailing nocturnal emissions with the clinical horror of a witch trial transcript. This wasn't medical advice. It was fan fiction for his own suppressed panic attacks. Kellogg slept in a separate bedroom from his wife Ella, while adopting over 40 children, one of history's clearest cases of overcompensation, since medieval popes built cathedrals to atone for their bastard armies. Their wedding night consisted of him gifting her a sex manual, followed by a chaste handshake, before retreating to his sanctum. This is the original Netflix and chill, separate rooms edition. Psychologists at Upstate Medical Center cross-referenced Kellogg's diaries with modern diagnoses, and realized his celibacy campaign matched textbook sexual obsession disorder. Dude built 5 sanitariums armed with rectal light therapies and pre-electric shock genital torture devices, essentially weaponizing medicine to exercise his own sweat-coated terrors. His cereal, just the edible scaffolding sustaining this personal war against biology. Bonus fact cementing the irony: Ella Kellogg filed for divorce in 1889 after decades of forced chastity, publicly calling her husband's crusade the hypocritical veneer of a man terrified of his own shadow in the mirror. He responded by founding the Race Betterment Foundation, basically a eugenics club where millionaires pretended selective breeding could exterminate masturbators. You can't invent this level of duality. The autopsy report: Kellogg insisted his nurses burn all medical records post-mortem. Burnt evidence usually accompanies 2 things: government cover-ups and porn stashes. Given what we know of Battle Creek's daily peanut enemas, I'm betting on option 3. A man whose legacy imploded faster than his own repressed libido, finally bursting through 50 years of brand-laced suppression. So when you watch Tony the Tiger peddling sugar bombs to kindergartners tomorrow morning, remember, Flojo's creepy Uncle John is eternally screaming inside that cartoon mascot's hollow eyes. Click subscribe before our next episode exposes how Victorian vibrator inventors actually caused the Great Depression, because repressed urges have collateral damage.